Alright, I want to break down my TOF build in this video. There's a cool angle from over here. Oh, there's a pool down there I've not got. This isn't the kind of the area I wanted to go. I'm logging into most days playing TOF. Have had the daily login for a majority of that. It's only the last week or two I haven't renewed it. Again, just trying to give myself a little bit of a break from these kind of daily login style games. But I've really quite enjoyed playing this. The EVA collab is just finished. I've got some more mail, actually, even looking at it. So, when we get a cake. Some random messages. Fantastic. Wearing this headset on my MC, which I got in the collab. I tried to get the skin. It was really annoying, right? I tried getting the EVA skin. And I did play this one. I did play that co-op thing a lot, and I only got to like halfway, and I kind of gave up on the last sort of 10 weeks, or 10 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, just because I didn't want to. I don't know, I did it so much, and I feel like I was missing something. I clearly missed out on doing something there, but we're going to go over my builds and just my weapons, and then the matrices I have chosen for those builds. And why, and some of my pieces and stuff, and how I use Fortitude. I've kind of covered how I Fortitude in other kits. I don't really get to do any gameplay, but if we match for anything, then we match for something in this. But I want to go over here. You can say I should have started the video over here. I haven't been over here in a long time. That's why I wanted to come over here. Is it this? No. Wait. I'm lost. Further in. This area is cool over here. Obviously we've got domain 9 now, but I guess this is all you kind of had before domain 9. I think it's over here. Yeah, this thing. Might do some pulls. I did just get a 10 pull for some vouchers. You can start off with that maybe. I don't know. Whatever. I appreciate you watching. My Returner's Guide did really well. It's one of my best videos I've done, and I'm really, really grateful for that. It's meant a lot that people have liked that video so much. Yeah, this is what I wanted to do, and then skip F. Okay, fantastic. So with Fortitude, you generally want to be running at least 2 Fortitude weapons. I think ideal, probably end game and probably some raids. I think ideally you probably want to be running some form of sustain weapon. I've never really done that though, and I've never really found a need to do that. But I use an attack weapon as well. So you could, in theory, I guess, I think most people probably want you to run 0, because I think you'll give your teammates a shield. It's just so boring though. It's so boring. But that's each to their own, you know, whatever. If you want to do that, you want to do that. But this is what I do. This is what I did. And what I've done. So this right here, when I first returned, I basically got Mimi, and then I looked at getting Lan and Lihua over time. Again, this has all been sort of built up over time. And I guess look at my sort of returning video, I guess, to see sort of where I was with that. But this team's been great. For all intents and purposes, I believe like Mimi gets a buff for having an off-piece element in her kit and something like that. There's all kind of reason to it, and it just works really well. Yeah, this team is basically what's carried my game. It's still probably my best team that I've got in the game. And Lan is a predominant. It's basically who I base my MC off in terms of like the kit, the red and pink. I just sort of based it off of Lan with the pink hair and everything as well. Just because Lan is probably my favorite character coming back into TOF. I still think she's great. One of my favorite anime characters I've ever seen in any sort of game. Not necessarily for her aesthetic, just for like this weapon and the skill set and the moves. I guess the character as well. The character's great. Lan's voice actor in English and the character herself is great. And the introduction she had in the story as well, I really enjoyed that. I thought coming back, that was something I really liked. I haven't actually caught up with a lot of the story. I'm a little bit behind. I think I'm just at sort of the Nanyin bit. I'm at that moment, and I haven't really played much more. I think there is quite a little bit more to do with the new sort of Domain 9 area, and I think obviously we're getting a new area, I think, soon as well. So, but I use this set with Lihua, I believe, because Lihua also has this Swift Cut, which scales off of your resistance types and crit and HP And you could say that's really copium, but whatever. It's the reason why I put her in here. So now a few of these weapons have got this sort of swift cut. And so that's why I ended up wanting her, and I ended up getting her in here at A1. We'll do matrices at the end. I'll cover that next after I've done my set. So this being my main set, that's what I usually use. I've got one attack set that it's extremely flexible, this attack set. At the minute it's got Asuka in it, because Osaka. I'm dyslexically realized. It's got her in it because of the physical area. So I'll use like this for Facer, for traveling around, flying around, and I'll use this to get the balls. And then I just like Lan. You can say Lin. I really like Lin's weapon. And so I've got that with this event skin I got a little while ago as well. Quite like using that. But again, this is just like casual. This is just like what I'll use going around in the world. I won't ever use this for any sort of like co-op content, really, outside of me just basically exploring. I guess it's my exploring set. But you can have this. I initially had this as like a fan build, so I just had Mimi in this initially. 2 fans with the Lin and Mimi. I quite like that with Facer, and you can just fly around. I mean, it's great. I really enjoy that. But again, that's my only attack set that I use. And then we got my main flame set, which I never use this. It's kind of awkward in now, because Huma's burst doesn't really have any sort of form of pulling aggro other than, I believe, the burst itself. And then any time after that. So she's not really great on field. You're kind of relying on then basically going into either axe form ideally and doing like burn attacks or burn sort of one. I usually do like 1 attack or 3 hits and then a hold, and you'll apply like burn, which is pretty good. If you do like she'll strike the ground, and that's pretty good. I think there's a similar, you can get some height and you can do like a slam with her shield, but it's all kind of copium. It's all very early game tough. I think for early game, it is still really good. If you're new, I would still recommend it because it taught me a lot, and I still found Huma really fun. The shield is still like one of my favorite weapons, but I just end up not using this team so much. And so I ended up putting Annabella in it. I really wanted Annabella, and I ended up getting, I think, at least 1 copy. It took me a lot to get Annabella. And then since she's come to standard, I've ended up getting more copies, which is nice. But the game really did not want me to have Annabella. It was actually really annoying. I eventually did get 1 copy. I was very happy with that. And then I can't remember if I had enough to even get, I think I had to buy A1 from the store because I had literally I had enough flame gold for how much I lost on that. But that's just how tough goes. But yeah, so basically I ended up getting Annabella with this team. This team's actually really powerful. It's my most powerful team. It's my most stars on any of my team now for sure. And probably one of my favorite teams, particularly because it just works. It just works really well. You just main with Annabella. And I rotate between Lan and Huma's burst to maintain aggro. And I just keep a sort of mid-distance between the boss. I tend to use the burn mode. No, gas mode with Anna. Because, in my opinion, I believe this is what's happening. Lan's umbrellas detonates the gas, so you don't need to worry about detonating the gas. Really, you can just go all day. I've really enjoyed this set. Again, I'll use this in like Frontier Clash, that sort of content. In fact, I might go and demonstrate this now in a bit, but I'll do this afterwards. This is a recent set I've been using, and for all intents and purposes, you could probably swap Shiro out with, like, say, the new character that's come out, Master Yu. And I did think about that recently. To be honest, I did like, if I did get Master Yu, I could slot her into this team. This is going to be kind of niche and possibly not relevant if you haven't got Asuka, because she was a collab weapon, and no one's really too sure if she's ever going to be coming back. It's real up to Hotter what I want to do with that. But for basically being my first sort of physical flame weapons, I decided to put her into this team. And this is pretty good. This is a fun team. This has been nice and refreshing for me because Fortitude, there aren't many Fortitude characters in the game. And so Fortitude's usually a bit frowned upon by most people, and I can kind of understand why. I'd still say it's very much needed in the end game content if you actually want to have an easy time playing this game. Because I mean, I've actually tried using say other sets, like using all the attack sets and stuff. It's just harder. The aggro's all over the place, but I appreciate people don't really care. But I think it's nice if you've got a tank that's to focus on, they can focus all the damage and they can trigger the phantasias, and all you have to do is focus on DPS. But I appreciate no everyone wants that. They want to trigger the phantasias and stuff as well. Very few people can pull aggro away. This set's still really good. The problem it's got is Asuka's kind of selfish, and that she only applies, even though you're really like strong, the shield she gives you is great. I believe it's like the AT shield. It is kind of selfish in that it's just for me. It's not for everybody in your, say, vicinity. That's a bit of a shame. So you can sit there and do a lot of the normal attacks in this to help build up charge between this kit, but it is quite a selfish Fortitude set, and I wouldn't recommend it. And I can see why they cooked this weapon like they did, and it's not going to be permanent, because I don't think they would ever cook a banner weapon like this. I'd say it's awfully quiet. It's just quiet in this menu, I guess. It's literally me in silence here. And my tinnitus is going crazy. But Shiro, I just put Shiro next. I wanted to use Shiro. Which is about the only decent other physical weapon I've got. And obviously got physical flame, so there's both resonances here. And then probably one of the more interesting sets that I do use quite a lot. I'll use this possibly even next one if I try and do some Void Rift content, if we can get a match for that. But I'll use this quite a bit when you need, say you can't use flame, or you can't use physical. Maybe you can't even use electro, but that's not always a big deal. If that's the case, I'll actually go to like my Annabella set or something. If I can't use electro, it's no big deal. But yeah, this has been really good. Same reason for Yolan as I had with Li Hua. She's got a very similar kit with the swift cut. Same deal. So typically Saki skill, Saki burst, into Mimi skill and burst, and then go into your land, maybe skill, do a couple of normal attacks with her. By that point, I've usually got enough energy to go back into Saki, and you just rotate again. And that's the same deal with this team. You like Mimi skill, Mimi burst, hold attack charge with Mimi, build land ult. Land uses her ult and her burst and her skill. I'll then have, say, no burst or skill available, so I'll then go into, say, Li Hua if I can, and I pulled the aggro. I'll use Li Hua's skill. I'll do, say, like 3 or 4 normal attacks, and then I'll hold it, which sets off one of her other skills. And by that point, again, I've usually got enough charge to go straight back into Mimi again, and again, hold attack with Mimi, pull aggro, go into LAN. It's just a rotation. I believe I've demonstrated this on a previous video of mine, literally called like How to Fortitude or How I Fortitude. So I don't really want to go into that. It's more just focusing on this. So you can see here that recently I've actually tried to level some of these. It's kind of what I've been doing with the daily login. Now that I feel my gear on my Wanderer is okay, I've been just trying to do the materials, like the quick match materials every day. And so on my Fortitude, I've mainly been focusing to raise them up. I have found I had most of my weapons about 140 at this level, and I actually found that to be perfectly fine. There's no reason, in my opinion, really to raise it above that. I just did it because I felt like I should. There is some harder content, sure, that I can't clear, and I'm not powerful enough being a Fortitude main, but it's not a big deal. I've never found 140 or less to be that big of a deal, really. The same, I'll go into matrices as well, what I've done with there, but you can see here basically, Huma, Lan, Saki, Asuka, and Mimi are all 180. And everything else is at 140 with Lin at 160. I'm quite happy with that. I'll probably bring Lin up to 180 at some point. But everyone else, I'll probably just keep attacking and other benediction stuff at like, so yeah, 130, 140 around there. And even then, some could argue for benediction and stuff, that's too much anyway. But if I was to go over my matrices, I've got a full Huma set with randomly 2 stars on Huma here. We've then on my LAN, I got a full piece LAN. I got very lucky with that very early on when I returned to the game. I believe I pulled one, and then about like 10 pull later, I pulled another one. So I had 2 pieces. And and then I believe I had enough to get the box, and then I can't remember where I got the other one from. I actually can't remember. I don't think I bought it outright. I might have waited until I got another box. I can't remember where I got the other one from. It's been a little while. But that works really well. 4-piece Annabella on her. Really like that. Got randomly one extra there. I have probably got another dupe on some of these. I just haven't necessarily ascended them. My Saki's got 2-piece Saki, 2-piece Zero. I find that works quite well. I was juggling this 0 pieces around. You can see these are level 60. Again, that needs coming up. These are level 70. I think my LAN 100 is about one of the few sets are, and my Huma is 69. They're all kind of within that range. I would like them all maxed out ideally, or like 90-ish, you know, towards the top end, but it is what it is. My iCHILL, which will probably change in the future. This was initially, my Samir pieces were initially on Fenny, but I don't really use Fenny anymore. But I ended up getting randomly, when I pulled this weapon, I ended up also getting two Cobalt pieces. I might have already had one, and I just thought, we'll make it work. LAN is doing some debuffing. I couldn't really figure out who else is doing any debuffing that would trigger this, but I think LAN in brackets might trigger this, but don't quote me on that. Either way, whatever. Stat stick, and it works quite well. Mimi, I have 4-piece Cilia, and I've actually got 2 more Ascensions for these 2 corners randomly. I had that a long time ago. I've ended up fighting this boss a lot. I've fought this boss a lot with just one other person, so 2 of us, and some of the fights have gone on for a very long time. And that's usually when I've got a guaranteed piece, is when there's just been 2 of us grinding this boss, but not always. A lot of the time, you know, people in World Chat, particularly the last few months, would call out this boss and grind it. So I've ended up having to do this boss quite a lot. There probably is a page somewhere in the research that will tell me how many times I've killed it, maybe, but I don't know. It's got to be quite a lot. Not enough to get any of the shard stuff, I suppose. 2-piece Crow, 2-piece Lin. I kind of wanted better 2 pieces on that. And then I'll just quickly go over these. 4-piece on Coco. My Cobalt's got purple pieces on. I don't use Meryl. Fenny isn't complete. I got 2 pieces, 2-piece Fenny. My Liquor's got 2-piece King, 2-piece Liquor. My Facer, which again is getting juggled around. What do I use on Facer? I think I've got 2-piece Subasa. Kind of cope. And 2-piece Facer. Again, that could be moved around. Who else is half interesting? My Yolan. 2-piece Crow. No, 4-piece Crow on Yolan. Okay, yeah, I must have recently done that. I don't know. And 4-piece Shiro on Shiro. I'd like to get that completed. So in terms of like spare pieces, I went from like having none when I came. I literally had like no SSR pieces when I came back to TOF, like sort of 6 to 7 months ago. And this is what I kind of collected, just basically playing most days, whether it be from joint operations, get quite a few from joint operations. Obviously, some of them like the Liquor and Facer from banners. You know, Lin was from banners. I think Rumi, Crow, Standard, Saki, Standard. All my Crow pieces. I never really got a Crow piece, and it will tell me here. I never really got a Crow piece from Sobek, but I have defeated Sobek a lot, like a serious amount. Probably more than Cilia, but I've very rarely got a piece from him. But usually when I've defeated Sobek, for a few times, maybe per week, I usually will find I'll get a Crow piece randomly in like the Void Rift, or again like in the joint operation, I'll end up just randomly getting one as a reward for that. And so I think the game does kind of try to pick up on other things you do in the world. So if you never do world bosses and you're looking at these going like, oh my god, I haven't got that many, it's probably because one way or another I think those world bosses do end up handing out SSR stuff. I mean, I even remember defeating the dragon on Artificial Island. I can't remember his name, and I ended up getting like a Samir copy, and it's one of the only few Samir copies I've ever had in the game. I've actually got A2 apparently, but yeah, I ended up really randomly, and that's the only time I've only had an SSR from one of those chests like once. You can see like Claudia Banner when she actually had a banner was when I sort of played this game, like sort of the very start, and you can see I pulled her from her banner, and I've still only got one copy. Kind of crazy. King, we've got a few Kings over the time, a few Sebastas. Generally, I would say my luck's been pretty good. I have had a few Humor dupes now. Since I've had it maxed out, I've had a few more Humor dupes, which I don't think's that great because it gives you flame gold. But so if I was to go into my pieces here, if we look at my overall stats, I usually try and show this anyway. We're generally sitting around 30,000 resistance. I've kind of stopped paying attention, to be honest, because I can just do my job and I don't really need to worry about it. The main one is altered resistance, and I do feel that when I can still like tank like Tatui, the sort of domain 9 boss. I can tank that boss kind of no problem, but it wasn't always the case, particularly below 10k altered resistance. It's very difficult, and particularly once you get to sort of domain 9, there are, I think even Cilia, I think, is altered, if I remember rightly. And so she, I'm going to call it she, is quite hard, really, if you haven't got the altered resistance to put up with that. I think a bit that's lower for me is that if you see here, my gear stats, because I guess I took a break from TOF, my gear stats here are only at level 30. And again, that's something that's kind of holding me back. I think I've seen a lot of people get these up to like 50. I don't know if it goes much higher than that. But I know if I had these higher level, I would have higher flat resistance, and so my actual altered resistance would be higher than this. I think we'd probably be sitting 20 plus if all these were leveled correctly. But I've tried to turn my gear. I grinded this with the joint operation. With this joint operation, I would go in here. I think a few people didn't know this. Obviously, you get to do a boss. We'll match for this while I'm talking about this. This one's kind of interesting. But this piece in here, instance reward, you can select what you would prefer. And obviously, if you're an attack, you're going to want to say, hey, I want flame gear. So it would just pick whatever, I guess, and give you flame-orientated gear. But what was mine on helmet? I think. Or is it on guards? I can't remember. Am I okay? Was it on helmet? Was it on like this? I'll have to double check. I can't remember. But basically you want to come in here, select your gear. This is how I ended up getting the gear I did, basically, by doing this. And obviously you can do, you can open 3 chests in this. That costs, like, say, 90 of this vitality. Each day, and obviously you can see I'm maxed out here, so really I need to address that, really. And typically, as I said before, what I'll do is I'll come into here, weapon drill or matrix drill, difficulty 3, I go and I'll go quick match, and that will instantly say it selects challenges. That will basically instantly max out all this vitality, and I'll use all of it instantly. I do like that feature, and just quickly get the rewards. I quite like that, but we'll do this for the sake of the video. I haven't tried balanced mode, which is a mode they added recently. Oh, we got one straight away. They've obviously been waiting for me. But I don't necessarily do this anymore because I'm quite happy with the gear I've got, which is, as I said, I'll go over after this, but we can do a bit of this. Bit of action, I suppose, from all my waffling. Give my voice a break and say, I'll have a little bit of a sip of a drink. Oh, it's this one. Yeah. People always rush on this. There's no real need, though. You don't need to rush. I'll use my flame hit. Yeah, there we go. Let me use the gas mode. God, it's been a while. So yeah, we'll spend the vitality to open this. But these are good. So if you want the more gear, this is how you get better gear towards the end of the game. Obviously, if you're lower level, you're going to want to ask in chat for people to help you with the lower level joint operations, because unfortunately, as we've covered before, not many people are matchmaking for the lower level stuff. Obviously, most people are at the end. So even if you're under level, as soon as you can, you want to be doing the end. You want to be doing the end joint ops. Yeah, there you use that. We can do that as well. I have got the I have got the board on this. You could obviously face her as well if you really want. But there's no real need. You can also grapple as well. Oh, you got the skin. You obviously grinded more than me. Something I do like they've added recently is these. So if you're running Benediction or you're running Fortitude, we now get a symbol above our head. Doesn't look like they've really thought about it though, because it's now beating the LAN, the Annabella symbol that I get above my head. Whatever. This guy is obviously Giga Chad. That's fine. Do me like that. I didn't even pay attention to what we got. So you can come into the menu here and press the system. And if you're not too sure, it will give you an inlay here of what you got. So if you did get an SSR, you can see it in here. I sometimes use that quite a bit, quite useful. Now that we've done that, let's... I'm hated by these red dots. Yeah, so you want to come back in here and then press this red dot here, and you get your free matrix chips. Is it that piece that I need now that I'm going on to my build? This. Do I really need a better one of these? Oh, I guess. Make it half interesting, I suppose. Why not the helmet, though? Ah, because I broke the game with this helmet recently. Right, yeah, I remember that. That's why. Okay, yeah, really happy with this helmet. So, the gear system's actually not too bad in this, particularly compared to Genshin's sort of artifact system, which is just absolute hell. In reality of RNG, you have blockers in this game where you can block stats, and you want to be using that to gear your gear towards what you want. I don't know, it's a bit of a mouthful there, but so this is probably my latest piece. Actually, looking at this, can I enhance this to? Oh, I can. Why have I got so many? Hey, is that even anything? There's a bit more resistance. There's a bit more of everything. Okay, well there you go. So it says what I just did here. Basic 8Ps plus 40 activation gives you a level up stat. You can see we just got to level 8. I think that's what that is. By doing this to 35, that was my final piece of the original basic 8 piece, which is your helmet, gloves, gauntlet, or shoulder pad, gauntlet, chest, belt, pants, and boots, and all this other stuff. I think Vera onwards. I think that sort of thing. But basically, you will end up with all these pieces here. So you can see, like, say the helmet, for example. You can see I was farming them, and these all have random RNG stats on the bottom here. And you just got to look for something that's half decent that you want to work with. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll end up feeding these. So you go to advanced. I'll end up feeding, particularly like these purple pieces, into them, and then you end up feeding these, and then you can even see I've already got some here that are pre-rolled. I haven't sort of fed or destroyed, but you can see these didn't go to plan. So with frost resistance, volt resistance, and a bit of HP, but no flat resistance. Ultimately, I was looking for flat resistance. If you look at the piece I'm wearing, I'm particularly low on volt resistance, and I'm obviously I want the alt resistance, which is this flat resistance here. I've got way too much physical resistance, almost way too much, even though physical enemies are probably the most popular enemy in the game. And it's not the worst one to have. You definitely want physical resistance, but I've got way too much of it, in my opinion. So this was perfect for me to get this piece. This was great. This isn't what I wanted at all. So you can see I left that there. I'll probably end up burning. This one I locked, because basically I think this is basically 4 rolls. This is 4 rolls into resistance, which is pretty difficult, and then 1 roll into volt resistance, which is awesome. Whereas this is what it usually happens. You end up getting, say, like, yeah, 1 into HP, 1 into physical, and then like 2 or 3 into resistance, and then even then it can be like low rolls. Same deal here, bit of flat. So this is kind of what I was dealing with before, and that's how I ended up doing it. And you just gotta keep just playing, and eventually you'll get pieces you'll like. So that's my helmet. I just wanted to cover how I did it and how I got these pieces before. But crit rate percentage, altered resistance on here, which is just god roll for me. I haven't had a nicer piece than this since. Frost attack is kind of useless other than my frost team and a bit of HP, but I really like this piece for the altered resistance. Really balanced out my set. I probably won't be able to change many of these for a while. I grinded for a nice crit rate piece and purpose, and I've had a few people tell me you shouldn't do it. To be honest, I've played with other pieces that haven't got crit on this build, and I am for sure a lot weaker. I can't look after myself when I'm soloing the world and exploring as well, and it does make content generally harder for me. So I've kept my crit build and my attack piece I've got, which I think I showed earlier, but this has worked really well for me. Not the best. I could probably do better. You could probably get this crit over 5k and have something like, you know, normal resistance on here. But as soon as I got this, I kind of stopped doing it. Now, I did mess up this piece. It had like skill damage or something on it. I can't remember. And I kept augmenting at the time, because a little while ago you couldn't augment that many pieces, so I just augmented this one because there wasn't anything else to do. And I didn't notice it changed this red stat, and it changed to increased healing, and I obviously pressed save, and so I ended up with increased healing. That was a mistake. It wasn't initially that, but it is what it is. Then you've got frost resistance physical down here. It's fine. It works out for me. My shoulder piece, generally kind of mid. Again, mainly got this nice flat resistance roll. Could be higher, could be better, but this one took me a long time to get. Again, I've probably got others I could use. But most of these I've augmented till they've actually tightened, and then I've kind of left it. Really, I haven't done much else to them. I haven't tried augmenting them further than basically tightened. So I had this piece because I felt it was pretty balanced, and I've just run it for a while. It's probably the one to change out now, really, in my set. So like flame attack, frost attack, you know, volt attack, and then physical. So basically getting the whole set in there. Just so I'm not kind of useless with whatever. And if you've noticed my builds or my weapons I use, I don't really limit myself to an element. I just kind of use whatever. And I kind of like that about Fortitude, that I think Fortitude is accessible enough to do that. That people, the critical advice for new players in TOF is to pick an element and stay with it. I would say yes, unless you're probably like Benediction or your Fortitude. Then you can kind of just do what you want, really, because you're very limited with the characters you've got anyway. So you might as well get the others. But I get it. If you're going for meta, by all means, though, I get it. Okay, you don't want to be doing that. But that's just, again, this is what I did. It works fine for me. So chest piece, I had to work quite hard to get this one, and this again turned out to be quite nicely balanced. So got 800 sort of resistance, a couple of rolls into HP there, which is pretty pain, and then it seems like I got 1 or 2 rolls into just like 1 high roll into HP, and then like 1 roll into resistance, and then like 2 high rolls into like flat resistance, I think there. So this one could be a lot better, but again, for Fortitude, this is all right. And again, it's got increased healing. I don't really know where I'll be healing. I think the reason the game did that, what did I have on my other one? Oh, these don't have a skill stat. Okay. I think the reason I did that, because the two relics I use a lot is what I've got equipped now, and it's this KIYO. Where do we see my sets? Oh, it's at the top here. Yeah, so this KIYO and this alternate destiny, I've used both of these a lot, and again for solo and co-op stuff. The alternate destiny can heal, particularly teammates or people that are in it. And so, though I'm not using a healer weapon 99% of the time, I just don't do it. I believe that is giving people a lot of healing, and I have probably saved quite a lot of people running alternate destiny, because if I'm weak or if I see someone else is about to get murked, I'll just run over to them and I'll drop that, and they usually get enough life steal from it. They can usually get, because they're doing so much DPS, they can usually get full health back pretty instantly. So pretty clutch thing to use. Combat engine, now these is where it's going to start again. This could be better. I covered all these, didn't I? Yeah. This is where it could be getting a bit better, and my account's a bit weak. So this one's got a high volt frost resistance, and then sort of normal flat resistance, and then just some random ass flame attack. Yeah, these need to be better. My luck hasn't been great with these style of pieces, Vera pieces, whatever you want to call them. I could farm these out of the commission area, I guess. I've probably got enough. I just haven't done it. I did it a little bit, but yeah, the RNG here isn't great. So this one's okay. It's got frost resistance, as I say, which is kind of useful sometimes. It kind of balances out my kit with resistance. But yeah, this could be better. It needs work. My belt, again, I worked a little bit on this to get this to be where it is. You can see HP recovery again, not a great start on this. But mainly got quite a high volt resistance roll. So again, got nearly 1,000 resistance on that. Quite happy with that. And then one roll into volt, a couple I think into normal resistance here, or flame resistance. Not really ideal for me, but I tried. I tried for a few weeks on each of these pieces to get the high as I could, sort of flat resistance. And it gets to a point, you just got to run something. And these are generally what I found to be better than what else I had to do the job I wanted to do. So same thing with my leg guards here. Normal attack damage boost. Again, because I think I used like Liqua and Mimi and some random cope stuff in that. So 1,000 resistance now because of the Titan. I think these took ages to tighten, to be honest. But again, yeah, nice sort of like all the resistances on here, plus 1,000 flat. I probably won't be changing those for a very, very long time. My boots, again, these probably took the longest to get, but then it just kind of, I got a few high crit rolls all within like sort of one day. It was kind of random. 4,900 crit on these, quite nice with physical attack, volt resistance. Everything else is kind of mid. Damage reduction, and obviously more resistances here. Quite happy with that, really. Again, that's going with my gloves that have got about the same, 4,800, which in total gave me, what is it, like 14,000 crit now with 2.2% crit because of the visor. Again, I say I took these pieces off. I took those pieces off and I took the visor off. I took rid of crit because everyone has said you don't need crit. And I'll basically reiterate what I said a few minutes ago. I know I'm waffling here a bit, but it's just, I knew I can't do this quickly, really. It's just how it is. So if you're still watching, thank you so much. Please leave a like. It helps the video a lot. But yeah, basically I couldn't do that quickly, and so couldn't do this quickly. But basically, yeah, I tried it without this. I tried it with other pieces, and it just didn't work. Because I think I ended up getting a better resistance piece for some of these. But yeah, as I said, I just found I wasn't able to look after myself as easy. Enemies were harder to kill. I'm having to hold attack longer, and I just didn't enjoy that. Felt weaker. Didn't enjoy that at all. Whereas now it seems like 10k crit, 10k attack seems to be kind of a sweet spot for me. If you can get that a little bit higher, I think you would have no issues at all. So again, you could say you could sort those out, but I don't know, not really too bad. I'd say I'm quite happy with those. My skeleton piece, got quite lucky with this one again a while ago. Volt resistance, flat resistance, frost resistance. This could be better, but that's pretty good for me. Volt resistant, frost resistant, it just helps me with my other stats being padded. And then this is probably the weakest piece I've got, even though it's got flat 1,000 resistance and it's nearly tightened. I think I could probably tighten it even now, to be honest. But yeah, HP and a bit of volt damage and some other resistances. I'd like to replace this like immediately and get something better, but I don't think I'll replace this or this combat engine for a while. It's kind of annoying, very end game kind of stuff to be doing with that. And so that's overall left me with what weapon set we're using here. My Annabella set, it says I got about 136 CS. I think this one's probably less at 132, and I think it gives you my Apex CS here, 1367. So yeah, that's probably my Annabella set that I just showed. So if you watch this far, thank you very much. I think that's kind of covers it. That kind of covers my Fortitude, my Fortitude account. I can go and do some demonstrating now, I suppose, if we can find a game or two. So for the sake of this video, I was trying to get some matchmaking going, but it seems a little bit... It's taking some time. It might be a little bit late for me. Yeah, so Frostbot's here. So I figured I'll just go and demonstrate. We have a matchmaking, but I kind of doubt it will. Yeah, let's cancel that Void Abyss. It doesn't seem to be working, so we'll just go and solo some of these Asperia bosses. Then you call it Vera. No, I haven't really played in a little while. He can freeze you and basically insta-kill you, I think. He's not really a... But if it was to come to, like, Vera bosses, or if it was to come to even Domain 9 bosses, I can't solo them, you know. They do scale with the zones. I mean, even at the beginning, even these Asperia bosses can be very tough. It's only sort of recently on my account that I can sort of solo these relatively easily. I still come and do some testing here. But you can see like this recent set with Asuka, this is really nice. Definitely one of the best sort of solo Fortitude sets. Again, probably not the best idea because you can... Oh, I've got a chip. No. This is... No. I'm going to see if Sobek's there. I might use a key on that. But I know what I like. So now I'll switch to my Annabella set. We'll go and see Apophis. He should be down here. So we'll teleport here. But I can do that. Say I can do these Asperia ones. When it comes to Vera, like Magma and stuff like that, they're a lot tougher. Especially like Eva. You need a good team for Eva. But again, that physical set's actually quite good on Eva. She doesn't one-shot me with that AT field. It's quite nice, actually. Done quite well with that. Never know which way to go. Is it this? It's up this way. Use the little buggy. I'll show you the rotations here, what I do with this Annabella set. I guess there's no really aggro to pull, but the same thing still kind of applies, really. I should use Humor here. I tried to do some cope move and it didn't work. It took too long. Yeah, it's kind of what I said earlier. With this set, you're just better to stick with Annabella. Because it's basically the same as Humor. You do dash attacks to inflict bleeds, I suppose, with Humor. But I just tend to do what I'm doing here. Yeah, it's too... The problem is she doesn't even build charge as well. Easy to trigger Fantasias with, though, Humor. And probably good training if you're new to Fortitude for triggering Fantasias. Humor's really good at training to do that, I suppose. Probably what she's best for, really, is learning that whole mechanic. We'll just force this one as well. Right, and we'll go and see if Sobek's there. Oh, this thing opened. Oh, did I get one of these down there? No, it was the supply pod. We'll do this now. We can do this now. It's no big deal. See what we get. You can get pulls from these, but it's very rare. Very, very rare. I think you can also get DC, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, so we're getting this in-game commission stuff. So that you want these to light up. Tend to do this. Let's do this sort of skip. Should be that one. Should be that one. Should be that one. And again. Oh, it is. Nice. Okay, it's definitely not going to be this one. No. And this one. Definitely not going to be this one. You can fall off, but I'll just see if we can one-shot this. We're going back. Great. Come on. Ah, easy. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Basic puzzle game. Still better than Genshin could do, let's be honest. It says I have to wait for the countdown. So Sobek. Sobek might not be there because people like farming him. And I would say out of all of these, depending on what you're doing, the king pieces can be okay. The artificial island 0 pieces are usually pretty good. I can't remember if I can solo that boss or not. He's a bit tougher. The giant frog thing on artificial island. I don't think I can solo him. Maybe with this set I'm running here. It's been a while. I think last time I tried the ASUS set and I had a bit of trouble, but there's usually so many people camping over there anyway. You're fine because there's less channels. I'm going the wrong way. There's less channels on the on artificial island, so you should be able to find more players in that area just chilling out. Is he here? Possibly not. Should be a shame, but it's what it is. No, he's not here. Oh, okay. I think this set can take on. Again, if he's not here, this other guy might not be here. Right, you want to see me fail? You can see me fail. We might be here for the next hour, though, at the same time. Could also be a thing. I don't know what weakness, actually, this frog has got. Now that I think about it, I can usually remember, but I can't remember what weakness this thing's got. Is he here? Doesn't look like he is here. Damn, you people. You see? Look, farmers. Look, everyone's just chilling here. Everyone's just chilling in this spot. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Okay, with no Sobek, who else did we go and get then? I don't know who else we go and get. We'll test this kit. We can go and see if Robark's here. Robark's pretty easy though. I feel like I'm missing something there. There's always people chilling out there. I used to hang out over there because it's where I did my pulls. Literally just next to there is where I used to do a lot of my pulls. It's still a good spot, to be honest. But, no! There's another dude over there. Okay, well, you clearly just avoided the other two. And I got quite lucky with the other bosses then. I don't really know. What is this? What is this Hu Tao? That's the default skin, I think. Where's this Hu Tao hat going on? That's kind of it. I guess this dude in the corner. No one ever attacks this guy. Oh no, he is there. The chests. Hey, and I've got the right weapons. Okay, well good. At least you're here. What are all these cubes and things? Oh, wrong weapon. No, that's mean. I don't normally start off like this, but we'll go into it. Start with Mimi. It's kind of what I said before. Go into this. Let's get my shield set on. Let's go into leave her. Build up more charge. Maybe get a dash right now. It didn't work. You do be far though. Bit messy because I don't really play this guy a lot. He's got kind of he like crouches down and then goes for the pounce like a little bit delayed afterwards. So I always as soon as he crouches, I always dash, and it's the wrong time to do it. But whatever. Kind of half cooked, but it is what it is. We'll run with that. Thank you for watching. It means a lot. I'll see you in the next video. If you want me to cook more toff, I don't know what else to really cook about this game. It's kind of covered most things. The Returner's Guide, I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to. And then I wanted to cover this as soon as my account I felt was worthy enough, and I definitely feel my account's worthy enough now. So, yeah, cool. Thank you for supporting me. It means a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.